Hello, you're very welcome back to the Irish Independence League of Ireland preview video. Delighted to be joined today by Dan McDonnell to look ahead to another big Friday night of games. Now, we're just after having a massive Friday-Monday 2 rounds where there was talk of points galore with Bohs. Another injury time winner for Bohs. Waterford making it 3 wins in a row. Derry making it back-to-back wins. But Dan, I suppose the biggest talking point from last Monday night was the row that emerged between Damien Duff and Stephen Bradley. It was one of our most read pieces on Monday and Tuesday this week. On the pitch, Shamrock Rovers hosting leaders. Drogheda, massive game for them. Rovers looking to make 2 wins out of 2. Drogheda story continues, of course, with Shelbourne hosting St. Pat's at Tolka Park in I suppose, a repeat of what was probably the game of the season last year.
Yeah, no, it does sort of feel like it should be Shamrock Rovers playing Shells this week because we've had a bit of a build-up. And obviously, Stephen Bradley talking on Thursday morning again about he's not going to be patching things up with Damien Duff anytime soon. So, yeah, look, I mean, it's a talking point, and it's a long-range build-up to June the 13th when they do play each other. But
Not too far away.
yeah, but I mean, obviously with the Shamrock Rovers Drogheda game, which is the TV match. I mean, I think the Shells Pats one feels like the biggest game, but in fairness, Drogheda are top of the table, and Stephen Bradley making a few comments as well about Drogheda United, how they win their fouls, how they play efficiently. It's sort of it's praise, but it's
Backhanded
sort of
compliment.
it's type of praise that not everyone will take too kindly to and hasn't taken too kindly to in Drogheda. So it gives a little bit of edge to that game. But I think the overriding thing is, there's no defined pattern. Like with every round of games, we can just go, well, both did this or Waterford did that. But it feels like the following week we could be making the completely opposite point. And I don't know at what stage it's going to settle down into a routine. And what you will have is that it just so happens that Shamrock Rovers, Drogheda, Shells and Pats are the 4 teams that are playing in Europe. They're going to have some Monday games coming up as well, extra games now to compensate for the games they'll lose in the summer. So we'll be seeing a lot of these 4 teams in different combinations against each other in the coming weeks.
And then you could suit the table to suit whatever argument you're trying to make. And when those European games do happen, other teams will have 2 or 3 games played more, gives others an opportunity to catch up, of course, as well. But just on these 2 games, Shamrock Rovers against Drogheda, the backhanded kind of compliment adds a bit of spice to this one, and Shells against Pats. I suppose in these preview videos we try to make predictions, but I think predictions are just
a straight waste of time. But you can
complete waste of time so far this year.
Stick with us. We'll predict them online and in the paper. I think Drogheda, like this. Drogheda the last 2 games, slight concern for them as they've started to concede some goals. But I mean, great sort of credit to them that they still managed to come back and beat Cork City on Monday. They'll be gutted to give away a 2-goal lead last week. I see Darren Markey's out again.
Big loss.
It's a big problem, and they're a bit concerned about Luke Dennison as well too. So as much as they've got James Taylor back and Ahui has been back, Paul Doyle then was back and injured, maybe this is a time where the slightly bigger squads come to the fore. Rovers have been able to rotate. They were reasonably comfortable against Sligo Rovers on Monday, although they had a 20-25 minute spell after half time where they weren't at their best. I think if you're looking at Shamrock Rovers to assert themselves, and I know Drogheda are used to everyone saying this about when they play Drogheda, but Shamrock Rovers have to win this match, I think.
No, 2 brilliant games to look forward to. I know you're Tolka bound on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, we should talk about that game. I mean, these are 2 teams who are struggling for momentum. Pats just haven't. I mean, you talk to people who've been watching Pats every week, and they would say that they haven't clicked at all. I think from Michelle's perspective, at times they've played quite well, but they've conceded bad goals and they've just been completely inefficient. They're controlling games, but maybe controlling games at times with maybe ineffective possession. And Damien Duff spoke about they lacked energy. He's making 2 subs early against Waterford on Monday, which is always a sign that there's just a bit of frustration kicking in. So like that was a great game at the end of last year where sort of Pats were playing with the handbrake off. Shells went 2 goals down and then all of a sudden they played with the handbrake off. But there's an element of pressure around both sides here that they won't want to lose this game either. So I hope it's going to be a good contest. I feel it should be a good contest, but equally, it's a game neither side wants to lose either as much as they need the win. I hope it ends up on the right side of that equation in terms of entertainment.
No, 2 brilliant games on the north side and the south side. Look forward to on Friday night. I'll be at Tallinn on Friday night as well. Really looking forward to that. Dan, moving on, I suppose we should reference Drogheda again. Their story continues. Incredible start to the season for them. At what point does it stop being a fast start, and we're coming up to the halfway point of the season now, and it's just been an incredible story so far for them?
I don't know. Like, I don't entirely know. As I said, they've got a congested schedule coming up. They're hopefully going to have to deal with Europe. They'll actually probably come into Europe later potentially as cup winners. But yeah, I think, as I said, like, their squad depth will be tested a little bit now in the coming weeks. But as I said, like, I mean, I think Kevin Doherty and the people around him are quite pragmatic in their assessment of things. They'll be very happy where they are. They'll also know they're just, they're what, 5-6 points clear of 8th place as well. So things can change very quickly. So you just need to keep racking up those points.
Down at the RSC, I suppose everyone's waiting for white smoke at the Vatican, but there was white smoke earlier this week at the RSC. John Coleman's first game in charge of Waterford. It's been an incredible turnaround for them in interim charge under Matt Lawler. 3 wins in a row, just 6 points off the top. So it's a good time to come in, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm not sure how John Coleman would feel about a Pope comparison. He is like he's a colourful character in his own way. From a very sort of old school English football background, 25 years across 2 spells with Accrington Stanley, over 1,200 games in English football, 3 months in Ireland previously with Sligo Rovers, left very quickly because the Accrington job came back up again for that second spell.
Bit before my time.
Yeah, but I mean, the strange one is really, he's an experienced enough football man that would know that, but it's great for Waterford that they've got 3 wins in a row. It's sometimes not great for the manager coming in because you want to actually have that bounce. And like, Matt Lawler has done as well as you can do. Like,
Totally.
They've gone away to 2 games in Dublin last weekend and won both of them. That actually, sometimes the managers come in, things are at a low ebb, you're looking for the bounce. They've already had that bounce, and actually maintaining it is going to be actually maybe challenging for them. They start with 2 home games. I know we said on Monday maybe the style of play, they were quite defensive. They need to obviously be better than that. But they're playing a Galway team who are going to be a little bit sore off the back.
Back to defeats.
Yeah, going to be a little bit sore. And I think, you're going to get a response from Galway. I find that game actually probably quite hard to call because I don't know, you want to keep the momentum, I guess, in some respects. But equally, you're going to be facing a team that's looking for a bounce of its own.
No, big night there at the RSC for new manager John Coleman. Dan, looking at the last 2 games, Cork City hosting Derry City. Derry with a bit of momentum behind them now. Sean Maguire hoping to make his first return after 11 games for Cork. And on Saturday night, Sligo Rovers hosting Bows, where I suppose a lot of their fans will be hoping for yet another injury time winner.
Yeah, listen, Cork City just need players back. They need Sean Maguire back. They keep losing other players. I think Derry probably big home wins if they're going to really say to people they're a serious team. They'll feel they need to go there and win that match. And yeah, Cork City just need to be careful at the moment because they're being sucked the opposite direction very much, and they need some kind of lift from somewhere. Saturday, Bows, I mean, no one in the away end is going to be leaving early, even if they're 1 down. This run of 97-minute goals is extraordinary. But that's a tricky one. I mean, Sligo Rovers, I've just seen them a couple of times, and they're definitely a better side than their points suggest. They just concede lots of goals, which is obviously a problem.
A couple early on as well.
But they actually are playing quite good football. That could be a good game on Saturday. Because in some ways, Sligo Rovers, their probably attack is their best form of defence. Bows are definitely playing a bit more control now, but equally they're not prolific. So Sligo Rovers won't be afraid of that challenge. So yeah, it's going to be a good game, another good weekend.
Well, 5 great games to look forward to this weekend. I'll be at Tell Stadium on Friday. Dan's at Tolka, and we'll have all the latest League of Ireland news with the Irish Independent.